You are watching the number one podcast in the wrestling community. I'm your host, Juan.
And I'm your host, Jean-Paul Leck.
And together, we are...
Rope
Break. How's the Robert family today? Saturday, March 7, 2020. Once again, we're right here with all of you guys. Thank you so much for watching every single one of our videos. And this time, we bring you previews and predictions for Elimination Chamber 2020, a pay-per-view that Jean-Paul and myself, we're going to be actually in the building, and we're going to be having a lot of fun, and we're going to go over all the matches. So before we do that...
And I was just going to say one thing, we're going to be in, like you said, in the building, and the chamber match is a tag team chamber. So maybe maybe we'll be in the chamber,
We might break in the business in the best fashion.
Because, come on, do you want to, I don't know, I guess they're in the storyline, but do you really want to see Dolph Ziggler and Bobby Roode, or would you rather see Jean-Paul and Juan? You know what I mean?
We want to go against Heavy Machinery and take away Mandy Rose. So watch out, Odie and Ducky.
Let us relish.
Yes, let us relish in Mandy Rose. So, family, we're going to go over right away with all the matches and our predictions for it. Before we do that, though, just want to say thank you to every single one of you. We really appreciate the love and the new subscribers, comments in our videos. We love the interactions with all of you. So, Mr. Leek, we're going to start with a match that was announced yesterday on SmackDown Live. And they did this mainly because the person that is involved in this match happens to be Philadelphia own. Drew Gulak against Daniel Danielson or Bryan Danielson, Daniel Bryan. What do you think about this?
Both guys are legit. Drew Gulak more so on 205 Live and a little bit when he was in NXT popping up, legit. And I don't like the main roster, what he's doing. Maybe he's getting over with more casual fans who don't really care so much about the in-ring work. Just like the promos and stuff, he's probably getting over more that way. But, if they let these guys go for 10 minutes or so, they'll put on a decent match. Both of them are talented as all hell, so I don't see why it can't be good. And that at least there's a little bit of storyline. It wasn't like they looked at each other and was like, hey, screw you, let's have a match. Every week Daniel Bryan has been, easily beating somebody that Drew Gulak sent after him because he's like, oh, I've been studying Bryan. I know his secrets. I know his weaknesses. Go beat him, whether it's Heath Slater or who was it? Mr. Perfect's kid, Curtis Axel.
Curtis
all
Axel,
these people. Yeah, all these, and then so he sends all these people. Drake Maverick was going to go after him. Good thing we didn't see that awful match. At least it would have been a singles match on SmackDown. But, since it was all tag teams, shout out Teddy Long. But I think it'll be a legit match, like I said. If it's 5 minutes and done, then I won't care. But if they give these guys 10, 12 minutes, it'll be a legit match. But pre-show, but legit.
Yeah. If they do that, Drew Gulak, they're gonna make him look kind of decent. But in the end, of course, Daniel Bryan is gonna win. So if they're feeling like giving something to the Philly crowd. That's what I can tell you. If they feel to do that.
And that's the one thing, obviously, because we're there, we're two of the crowd, so it's already legit. But the Philly crowd is going to be legit, because they're a smart crowd. They know they're wrestling. If something is, bullshit, they're going to be like, bullshit. Something's good, they're going to be like, so they're going to, they're not going to want to put on a bad show. Not the wrestlers. I'm talking Vince and all them, because they know they're not going to want to get booed. At least not as bad as a Philly crowd will boo them, so they'll put on good matches.
I feel that it was probably going to be a good match, but in the end, we both know Daniel Bryan is going to win.
Yeah, that's my pick.
Gulak is not getting the win. Probably the pre-show, like you said, to get us ready for the main event. And so after that, we move on to United States Championship match: Andrade Cien Almas against Humberto Carrillo. Why are we having this match once again after seeing it ever since 2019?
The only thing I can say on that is that Humberto, I guess, your time is up and his time is now. You can't see him because he's doing an arm drag off the second rope. His time is now. So I say the only reason why we're seeing it again is he's going to win. And then maybe you set up a feud where it's him versus Garza at Mania, and maybe Garza Maybe he loses it to Garza, and then Garza gets that Mania moment. That would be legit. We both are a huge pop for Garza, and then maybe Andrade feuds back with Mysterio. Then you do the hair versus mask, something like that, which was rumored for last year. So there's a lot of things that you could do. Then that's the only thing, because to me, if Andrade wins again and this feud is still going, then it's like, then I really won't care. But now, Elimination Chamber going into Mania, let's see. And if
Let's
Andrade
go
does
for the
lose,
title switch. Let's go
yeah,
for a
I
title
mean,
switch.
and I'm not saying personally, and I feel you're probably the same. You like Andrade more than Humberto,
Yeah, oh
but
yeah. Yeah, yeah.
but it's like, if they do the right story, and also it's like, how many times can this feud keep going? Because, if Andrade wins, he's not just going to move on. Humberto is going to have to win at some point. So I feel like it's now or never. Like, don't drag this out till Mania, because it's already boring.
What I think is going to happen, though, is going to be we will probably see Mysterio and Garza interacting in this match. So what's going to happen, I will say, like, Andrade retains, and they set up for this to make it a ladder match at WrestleMania for the United States Championship involving all four of them. That will be the best plan.
That would be legit.
That will be the match of the night.
Yeah, that would be legit. The only thing is, though, I could easily see it something where it's like, because when you said like that, I could see like Ray, he would like die the martyr. Like, he would be like climbing the ladder, and like, Humberto would be on the other side of the ladder, and the two heels are getting up, and instead of pulling down the belt, he'll like do a senton, take both guys out, and let Humberto win the belt, and he'll be like, oh, you're the future, you deserve the belt. And it's like, no, Ray, you should win it, you're more legit. But I would love to see a ladder match, though. Like, if that's the way they go for WrestleMania, all four, I love that idea.
Or maybe, what it could happen could be a disqualification because Garza and Rey Mysterio will get involved. Yeah. So that's my other thing coming to this match. It will be great to see the interaction between the four of them. So maybe that's what's gonna happen. That's my prediction.
So your pick is there's gonna be some screwiness, some interference, something along those lines.
Like there's not gonna be a title switch. You pick title switch, I think it's gonna be a disqualification.
Yeah. So I'm going with my pick. If it wasn't clear, I'm going to say they do the title change. I think there might be funny business, but I'm going to say that Humberto wins. That's my pick. Right.
You'll get the title switch. So moving along, we go to AJ Styles against Aleister Black. No disqualification. We know what happened on Monday Night Raw. Thanks to Jean Paul's review, AJ Styles pretty much refused to fight Aleister Black. He had to go through the both of the OC. And then AJ Styles kind of like a screwy finish. Then he got a clean win over Aleister Black. We know that decision came from Vince McMahon himself. He's the one that changed the script on that once again, because Aleister Black was supposed to get the win over Styles. But because they're setting something up with The Undertaker, there's been rumors that it might be the OC and AJ Styles going to Aleister Black, The Undertaker, and Kane at WrestleMania. So there might be an appearance from the Dead Man in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
That 6-man would be bullshit, I think, but
it will be.
It would be cool to see, but yeah, I wouldn't say finish your thought, then I'll get into the prediction.
Oh, no, I'm just saying, like, if that happens to be, I think that Aleister Black might get the win in this one, but if there's going to be an Undertaker appearance, maybe he even, like, AJ Styles will win again. Because Aleister Black already lost on the main roster, so he can lose one more time. So that's my prediction.
If I'm predicting it, I think, to go off what you said for the last match, interference, Undertaker's definitely showing up, because they need to hype Mania. They need that right now. Is like they put the freaking jet fuel to the max. They put the boosters to the max. They are rocket powering to WrestleMania, and they're booking legit stuff, minus everything we see on Friday nights. So I think what they're going to do is, it's going to be that I think Aleister Black's going to get the win, and then he moves on. But it's like what he moves on to, I don't know. Maybe he could be involved because him and Seth Rollins, there's a little bit going on there because Buddy Murphy, all this other stuff. And since Samoa Joe is gone, maybe he moves up into that role and, you do something with them. And he can help Kevin Owens since, like I said, Samoa Joe's not here. But I would have Undertaker come out and he cost Styles the match. because then AJ Styles could get pissed off, and then it's like, I know they don't focus much on the power rankings and this and that, but then you could say, oh, AJ dropped, Alistair is ahead of him, AJ's not, he's a loser now, whatever, and it's all because the Undertaker's screwing with him because he called out the Undertaker. Like, you could focus and do something like that, but
Yeah,
that's what
I could see that happening too. Definitely, that those kind of things could happen. Like you said, for example, I like the idea that maybe Alistair Black filling for Samoa Joe, and then that can make it a tag. And that we're going to talk about this right now because if they will be Kevin Owens and Alistair Black going against Rollins and Buddy Murphy, if that's the case, they will need to have the championships again. So that's what we're going to talk about. Raw Tag Team Championship match is a rematch for what happened on Raw. The Street Profits, the current champions, going against Rollins and Murphy. What's your prediction, Mr. Legg, and then I'll give you mine.
This one is hard to call only because they had that, like I said, they had that bogus stipulation last week or this past Monday when it was like, oh, it's like now or never or whatever they called it. Like, if they don't win now, they're done. They're not going to have another title opportunity ever. So it's like, you knew they were going to win. Like, what are they going to do? Lose and then move to SmackDown and then win those titles? Like, come on. So they were going to obviously win this match. They had the help of Kevin Owens. I don't think we're going to see Kevin Owens tonight or, a Sunday night. Maybe we will. Maybe he'll appear again after the match. I hope it's not the same thing, stunner, frog splash, and done. But this one's hard to call. So if I'm going with my gut, I'm going to say Rollins and Murphy get it back. I feel like they only gave it to him, like I said, the stipulation, and then just so they can have this match at Elimination Chamber because they're like, man, like, who are we going to put them against? We can't put them against Kevin Owens and, whoever
Samoa
his
Joe.
partner is. Yeah, because one, we don't have Samoa Joe, so it's like this buys us a few weeks. We get Aleister Black away from AJ, team him up with Kevin Owens, which to me I think would make the most sense because, like, going back to Aleister Black, where does he go? Unless you're going to do that 6-man tag with AJ, where's he going to go? Because he's not going to get involved in the United States Championship, and he's definitely not going to get involved in the main event. I would say after WrestleMania, I would do Black Mass versus Claymore, but you don't do that until after Mania.
It will have to be on, and let's see the outcome that is going to happen with McIntyre and Brock Lesnar. So my gut is also like Rollins and Murphy are going to retain, going to get the titles back just because like they need the titles in order for them to have like the match, like a marquee match at WrestleMania, and that will be like you said, maybe Rollins and Kevin Owens and Aleister Black. So that could be a different team. And they could have the tag team match, and then they will win the championships, unless they're going to have them separate. It will be Seth Rollins against Kevin Owens at WrestleMania, and also, and one more time, Aleister Black and Murphy. So I don't think they will do that, but my gut is telling me that they're going to get the titles back. They just only did that just to get like a cheap pop. So, they will boost the ratings, and people will be more inclined to watch Monday Night Raw, which they did like the right decision. I absolutely love how they did it. So I think that's might going to happen. Maybe we'll see McIntyre. I know that he's in the area. Also in Allentown, Pennsylvania, they're having a show tonight. So a lot of guys are handy. So we might see a promo by McIntyre. We might see a promo by Kevin Owens.
Randy Orton, because I heard the commercial for it. Randy Orton is actually going against Drew McIntyre. So both of them are in the area. So maybe something with Randy Orton. We
might get something with Randy Orton. Maybe I talk about Beth Phoenix. It's going to be just a good night for Raw Break to be right there and, to enjoy our first Elimination Chamber. And this takes us to Intercontinental Championship match, Handicap 3-on-1. Antonio Cesaro, forgotten one of the most underrated wrestlers of all time. Shinsuke Nakamura, the artist, the architect. Not an architect, but an artist. And returning Sami Zayn, the cheap version of Seth Rollins, they call him. Very similar version of Seth Rollins of WWE. Going against Braun Strowman. This match, I will say, plain simple, Braun Strowman's going to win because, unfortunately, those three guys are incredibly talented, but in the eyes of, like, WWE officials, Vince McMahon, they're losers. And they see Sami Zayn in more, they love his mic work. Like, they love how he delivers lines, how he can pretend to be a heel, how he's a coward, how, like, he avoids having matches and everything, but I don't think they appreciate his in-ring skill, which is as good as his mic work. So
I'm gonna go. Yeah, you go with Strowman, clear as day, and that's the obvious choice. That's probably the right choice. That's like the Magic 8 Ball says. All signs point to yes for that. Now I'm gonna go out on a limb here. And this isn't a thick branch. This is a twig, and I'm Yokozuna, but I'm going out on this branch anyway. Probably gonna snap, fall to my doom, whatever. I'm gonna say that these three amigos, not Eddie Guerrero, but these three amigos, they're gonna win because I just have faith that SmackDown might do something, which is it's gonna, like I said, it's gonna blow up in my face. But hey, I'm going with the three guys to win. There's no way you're gonna bury all three of these guys. At least I hope not. And then to me, the match at Mania is you have a triple threat between all three guys, and that would be legit.
That
You
would
could
be
even
great.
Yeah, or you could even do a ladder match because you could still have the feud with Braun Strowman go on. Elias was mixed into that feud. I know he's kind of doing shit with Baron Corbin, and it's like, please, gag me with a spoon. Who
Hmm.
wants to see this? Like Corbin just needs to be off TV, or at least get rid of the King gimmick. I hate the King gimmick. It's not funny anymore. It was never funny, but maybe him too. Because what would that be? That would be six guys, right?
That
Yeah,
would be a
Corbin,
six guys. Yeah.
Elias, Strowman, and then the other three of them. You could do
Yeah.
a six-man, what you said about the ladder. Maybe do a six-man ladder match at Mania for the IC belt. That would be legit with all six of those guys. That would be cool. I mean, Braun Strowman's kind of bullshit. Elias isn't the best, but those other four guys, because Corbin's not bad. I don't hate him in the ring. So, all four of them would make a decent ladder match. And like I said, Strowman's the gimmick, and Elias is, the
Just
Macho
a
Man
glorified
wannabe. So,
wrestler.
yeah.
That could be
So,
the thing. It might be different, but see, that's your pick. Like I said, for me, Strowman retains just because those three guys are going to be buried, and that's how just going to be. They will probably be in the Battle Royal, the Andre the Giant Battle Royal WrestleMania. I don't think they're going to have a big match. Unfortunately, that's my gut telling me that like WWE do not appreciate neither one of these three guys, and that's my prediction on that. So, Mr. Egg, we're gonna go to the first elimination chamber of the night. Probably this is gonna be the first match in the how they booked the pay per view. It's gonna be the SmackDown Tag Team Championship. The Miz and John Morrison defending against the New Day, Heavy Machinery, Otis and Tucky, Robert
Tucky!
Roode and Dolph Ziggler, and the Usos, remembering that Robert Roode or Bobby Roode and Dolph Ziggler, they have the advantage because they're the last team to go in the chamber because they won that gauntlet match yesterday on SmackDown Live. Of course, we had the review of everything that happened on SmackDown, so please check that out. So, what do you think, Mr. Leek? Who wins? Are we having a title switch or no?
Yeah, I mean, like I've been saying it for weeks. The story here isn't Miz and Morrison, unfortunately. It's nothing with the New Day. The Usos, they came back with a little bit of fanfare with Roman. They're already bullshit and done. The story here is Dolph Ziggler, Bobby Roode, and Heavy Machinery. So I say the title change is going to the ones who have the clear advantage coming out last. I don't know who they pin. To me, I hope that at least it maybe comes down to Miz and Morrison, and maybe the last team is the second last team's Heavy Machinery, or at least maybe the second last team is Miz and Morrison. Make them look strong if they're gonna lose. That's my only request is don't have them look like idiots and then lose, and then they're like, oh, so because they are the tag champs. I mean, Miz is bullshit. We say it every week, but Morrison is so good that
Yes.
he doesn't deserve to look the way he does unless Miz eats the pin and is done and you split them and they have a feud. Morrison wins, moves on to greener pastures.
Yes.
But
Yes.
that's the only thing. If you're gonna have him lose, you have Miz look like a bumbling fool, and then you have Morrison like, dude, I came back here, and ever since I've just been in your shadow and your bullshit, and it's done. And then they feud. Morrison wins. But like I said, Ziggler and Rude is who I'm going with, and then you set that up for Mania.
And then for Heavy Machinery.
Yeah,
So that's your
because yeah,
prediction. So
yeah,
that's your
because
prediction.
Otis, he's
That's
coming.
right. Yeah. My prediction actually, there's not going to be a title switch. Morrison and The Miz, they retain those titles, and they pin Heavy Machinery. They pin Heavy Machinery, and that's how like their feud is set up all the way till Mania. And I think that like there's going to be some kind of interaction, of course, with Roode and Ziggler. So actually, Heavy Machinery is going to end up eliminating Ziggler and Roode, and that's when Otis is going to get like he's in the upper hand on Ziggler, and then but all this interaction is going to cause the distraction, and then that's when like Miz and Morrison will get the win. That's at least my. I don't think there's going to be a title switch because what do you do when the Miz and Morrison? Like you
Like
said,
I
turn
said,
them heel.
Yeah.
turn Morrison face and everything. But okay, but see, like to me, that's a match that nobody's interested in seeing because, like you said, Miz is terrible. Or I mean, the Miz without he doesn't have anything going on this year. This whole year, the Miz has been really weak.
No. Yeah, he started off the year with that feud with Shane McMahon, and then he stayed face for way too long, and then
Yes,
he only recently turned heel, and it was like, okay, you know,
he did the Fiend and all of that. Like
yeah,
he had that thing with Bray Wyatt, but in
yeah,
the end, the Miz, like he needs like goal. He needs goal to actually kind of start being the prick. Being like this guy that everybody hates. Be like version 2.0 of MJF, but like you
hmm
said, like lowered it like 4 notches.
yeah,
But he needs goal around it because without goal, what is he gonna brag about? Oh yeah,
hmm
my wife's hot. You know.
yeah. But where is she? It's not like before when he had would Maurice come out, and she would be looking good. He doesn't
Yes.
do that no more because they have
Yes.
kids, which I respect that. Yeah, they have kids. Yeah, at least they're there taking care of their kids and they're not being raised by a nanny or something. So that's legit. But it's like you said, what does he have to brag with? He has nothing.
Yes. And like you said, like hopefully it's a good showing for the Lucha House Party. Also, they will do a few moves. They will use the cage, they will use the chamber, they will use the
Mhm.
pods and all of that.
Oh
The
yeah, and
Usos,
the
they
same
don't
thing.
have
The
anything going on
Usos,
with them.
yeah, the Usos, the New Day, like they're all legit. Like all the teams in here are actually legit. The worst wrestler in this whole thing is probably the Miz, or I'm not trying to knock our boy, but like Otis. I mean, Otis is good for his size, but that just shows how talented everyone else in this chamber match is.
Yes, at least well,
Jimmy,
Otis is gonna have like his big break, I think,
oh yeah,
because if they continue going with the momentum that he's getting
yeah.
from SmackDown, I think it's gonna be better.
Because I'm one of those guys who, and there's a lot of people who know what they're talking about, will agree with me. Tucker, Tucky Knight, he is legit, dude. For his size, man, he hits some drop kicks and all that other shit he does. He is legit.
Yes, yeah, I
That's one
agree
of
with
those
you.
things. Yeah, like a lot of people, you don't think he's legit because, like, oh, stakes and weights, Tucky, I'm coming, It's all Otis, but like, Tucky's legit, dude.
Hey, hopefully, like if they will be split up, like there will be a big break for Tucker, but he can talk on the mic. He's a good wrestler, so
Yeah.
if they ever say like go for that avenue, I think he'll be fine.
Which I don't think they ever should. To me, like they're two halves of one whole. They're not as good as they could be in a singles role together is where they're at.
Yeah,
But
they will probably stay like that, knowing WWE.
mhm.
Maybe they at some point they go to another promotion. That's what that will happen. So now, Mr. Egg, main event time: women's elimination chamber match for to become the number one contender at WrestleMania for the Raw Women's Championship. Natalia, Liv Morgan, Shayna Baszler, Asuka, Ruby Riott, and Sarah Logan.
Shayna
Your thoughts
Baszler.
on this?
Shayna Baszler. Thank you all for watching.
Yep. Is this pretty predictable?
No, yeah. I
Unfortunately.
mean, yeah. That's the only real knock I have about this match is how predictable it is. And now WWE, they could do the thing because there are people out there that's like, so Vince McMahon doesn't like Shayna Baszler. So yeah, but okay, well he might not like Shayna Baszler, but that's just because he's Vince and he doesn't like what's good. But what's he gonna do? Give it to Liv Morgan, Sarah Logan, Ruby Riott? None of them make sense. Asuka kind of makes sense, but we just saw that at the Royal Rumble. We just saw that again on Raw a couple weeks ago. So no, Natalia. I like Natalia, but who wants to see that at Mania? Nobody.
Yes, and then we already saw that match at SummerSlam.
Yeah,
Becky
yeah.
Lynch and
When it was in
Natalia. So
Toronto, yeah, or in Canada at least. But so that's the thing. Shane is an obvious choice. Now this match will still be legit. Ruby Riott is legit. Natalia isn't. Natalia can go. Like this Royal Rumble, like she went. Last year's Royal Rumble, she went. She can go when she's asked to go. Asuka's legit. Shayna's legit. There's four legit wrestlers in this match. Liv Morgan, Sarah Logan, they're kind of just bodies. They're not the worst. They're not clearly the best. But so I think the match will be good, but I think it's just Shayna, it's she has the green light, man. It's like, all signs pointing to her. Go right ahead.
I will
So
agree with
that's the
you.
only, yeah.
Shayna is the obvious choice. That's pretty much. It's like you're having this match just to give Shayna her best, her moment because you changed the plans at the Royal Rumble. Because you could have done it.
Yeah.
You could easily done it at the Royal Rumble. But
Mhm.
because
Now,
of Vince,
tell me this though, because it's so obvious. who would you book and how would you book it going forward if, let's say, it wasn't Shayna and it was just the other five women? Who would you pick to win, and then
I
who
will
would
go
win the
Ruby
match?
Riott. I will go Ruby Riott because it's see out of all of them, Ruby Riott is the best wrestler, and
Mm.
also Ruby Riott can come with like his better promo.
I would say Asuka's better. We don't need to argue it, but I would say Asuka's probably better
But
than
like, see,
Ruby
but
Riott.
we could say that like either one of the two, but
Mm.
we've seen already Asuka, so that's already like
Yeah,
done, like done and already forgotten and everything. But Ruby Riott, we haven't seen that match. Actually, Ruby Riott, outside of Sarah Logan and Liv Morgan, is the only woman, and of course Baszler, but is the only woman that has not gone against Becky Lynch for a championship.
yeah,
So it will be the easy pick will be for me Ruby Riott.
yeah.
Why? Because it's, again, promo work, it will be a lot better than Asuka. Because
Oh
Ruby
yeah.
can actually get on your nerves. She can be like that heel that will get
Mm.
that massive heat and make Becky Lynch actually look good. Because lately Becky Lynch has lost a lot of momentum, and
Yeah,
if especially when she's wearing the sunglasses, and no pun intended, but she's
yeah.
trying to get your gimmick, and it's not really helping her out. Like the crown,
Mm.
even Alexa Bliss tweeted on, and she said like, "Oh, that's King Corbin's gimmick." So you
Mm.
can tell that like for like other wrestlers do not appreciate the way that Becky Lynch sometimes is acting. I don't have anything against Becky Lynch, but I'm just saying like is kind of getting like is her time to drop that championship. It's
Yeah.
been way too long for me that like she's hold that belt. So we need either Shayna Baszler. If they're gonna do something, I will just tell you they said that Ruby, if it's not Ruby Riott, they say Bianca Belair might be handy. So they might make this not a singles match, but what do I always tell you? Triple threat. Don't quote me on it, but I'm hearing that Vince McMahon was not impressed at all with his match with Kyrie Sane.
Oh, with Shayna?
Yeah, on Monday Night Raw. He was not impressed at all. He was thinking that she was going to be, getting a lot of crowd reaction and anything. He's not impressed at all, so there might be a switch. So we'll see that tomorrow, but that's my prediction. Shayna wins, but if not, Ruby Riott surprises everybody.
Yeah, which I mean that would be a legit match. Now the match, barring Vince's obvious stupidity, his senileness, whatever. If it would be somebody else, I would like to see Asuka get it and win, beat Becky Lynch, because then you see Asuka versus Shayna. Because like I said, I want to see that match just so they can both argue like who is the real like dominant, woman of NXT, like of all NXT history.
Yes.
Because I doubt none of the women that they have now in NXT are gonna go on a run like Asuka or Shayna did.
Yes.
They
Oh,
don't
yeah.
have any. They don't have a single woman on that roster who. I mean, you can book anyone like that. You could book the woman who probably sweeps up the bleachers when everyone leaves. You could have her. You could book her like that, but none of them would be believable like Asuka and Shayna were.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. That I want to see that match, and they already got in each other's face, and I'm sure there'll be a little interaction in the chamber, and like obviously you could do it where Shane is the champion later on. You could have the feud, revisit it, and then have go into this. But like I said, if it's going to be somebody else, I would like to see Asuka win it, and then like down the line she would go against Shayna or something. If
Yeah.
it wouldn't be Shayna, but Ruby Riott is
Absolutely.
another good choice because like you said, it's the freshest matchup and it will be the most legit.
It makes more sense. So I think this concludes the previews and predictions for us. Like I said, Robert will be in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. We're going to be actually doing some Facebook Live, guys. So please stay tuned for that. We will be right when we get to the building, right where we're there, waiting for the pay-per-view to start. So just please comment whatever you want us to do. We're going to be there handy. Even if you need us for like fill a spot in the chamber, we'll also be handy. We want to win the tag team SmackDown Tag Team Championships. And like once again, thank you for watching the video, family. Don't forget, check us out on the social media world. We're everywhere. You see it
Mhm.
in the layout. And don't forget, always wrestling never stops, and neither do we. So we're gonna come back with way more content. There's way more things. Tomorrow we will be revealing one surprise, so please stay tuned. And in the name of Jean Paul and myself, we want to say,
Uh,
ah,